We'll give just a couple of minutes to let people start streaming in. Okay, as everyone starts logging in, I just want to go over just a couple of rules. Questions are more than welcome. So if you have a question, I will be watching the chat box and answering any questions that come up. And please, if I happen to miss a question, you can resend it or notify me that you have a question that you really want to get answered. And even if it's something that you think it might not be part of what we're talking about or I'm working on at the moment, please feel free to ask the question anyways, because I know when things pop in my head, I have to ask them right away. So my name is Kateri Johnson, and I am an artistic educator with Matrix. I am from the, of course, Grand Rapids, Michigan area. I've been with Matrix for 11 years, and I've been in the industry for over 27 years. I have a salon suite here in town, and I specialize in curl. And I also live it. I'm a curly girl myself. Today, what I'm going to be going over are some techniques for highlighting textured, coily, and curly hair. I'm also going to break down a few really easy styles on textured and curly hair. Then once I'm done applying the highlight, I'm going to show you just a kind of an average everyday look that curly hair people wear is called a wash and go. So I'm going to break down product application and how everything works along with diffusing. So let's jump right into it. So in highlighting curly and textured hair, a lot of curly clients now are very, very well educated. We now have so much information that wasn't available to us many, many years ago for curly and textured clients, whether it be coloring and highlighting techniques, product knowledge, cutting techniques. Our clients come to us very, very prepared with a lot of information. And getting highlights is one that curly haired people really, really are wanting to get into. But maintaining curl integrity is the key in highlighting and chemically treating curly and textured hair. There are times where the curl pattern itself can be stretched or distorted because of highlighting and chemical services. So we want to take care and use the proper products that will ensure that integrity of the curl, not to mention the strand, also to maintain that shine, to maintain that individual shape, no matter what texture they have, anywhere from your high twos to B's, C's, all the way up to your 4Cs. Today, Amber, my lovely model, has come to me prepared, pre-prepared. She has, her hair is clean and dry. She's just wearing it how she wears it. And she wants a highlight technique. She wants highlights that are going to give her dimension and accentuate and pop her curls. Now, because she is an educated curly, she came pre-washed, no little to no product in her hair, and already combed out. A lot of times when you have newer clients that are newer to their curl, they use a lot of products. So my Amber knows to pre-shampoo, dry, come in the state that she wears it, where an unprepared client may come with a lot of product. So we have to pre-prepare that person in salon, which means we may have to clarify, depending on what product line you use, you should clarify the hair and scalp to remove any oils or any product buildup. With a lot of curly and textured clients, we don't wash our hair as frequently as a lot of other clients that may need to due to maybe scalp issues or whatever the case may be. But with a person like myself, I wash my hair once a week. I put product in once a week. And in between, I just refresh and reactivate my product. There are other curl clients that will come in that will shampoo once a week or once every 2 weeks and may do co-wash type of treatments in between. A lot of times they don't necessarily use a true co-wash product. They'll use conditioner and they'll just rinse conditioner through their hair and leave that in, which then over time builds up, but it leaves a residue behind that may inhibit the actual action of your highlighting process, your product that you're using on the hair may not be able to get through. So you as the stylist would have to pre-prepare that client by clarifying their hair. Now, if I had to clarify her beforehand, I may sit her under the dryer to dry her hair in the position that she's wearing it. So this would be how Amber would look after she has been clarified in salon and dried thoroughly. Now, with the client that is looking to have highlighting done on highly textured hair, Amber's about a 3B, 3C in some areas. Now, in order to get a good highlight, there are a couple of different ways that we can do this. One of them is to stretch her hair. This is called stretching. So once we have her dried, we can go through with either a blow dryer with a comb attachment and take each section of her head and blow it dry in this position. We want the curls stretched just for ease of detangling, for sectioning purposes, and so that we have a nice flat surface to apply our highlight to. Now, if Amber were to come in with her hair naturally cleaned on her own, we can just lightly comb through and break up these coils to stretch them out. So either way is totally fine as long as you know what the curl pattern is that you're working on. Now, when highlighting curly hair, and this is a Kateri thing. I like to take very organic sections. I don't like perfect partings because the more organic the flow of the hair, the more organic your highlights will be. They won't look so set. So I just literally take my finger and create a subsection. Now with highlighting curly and coily hair, depending on the finish that we want to see, we can usually take thicker sections to create dimension. We can highlight just like we can anyone else, where we have those beautiful fingers that flow up, kind of like the flames of highlights that go up, and then create nice density on the bottom. This can be done with a balayage board. It can be done just by hand. You can also foil, air process. I'm a big air processor. At least more than 90% of my clientele are all air processed highlights. But there will be cases where you need to incubate that hair, whether she's at a darker levels, like your 1s through 4s, and you really need that incubation to help lift through that natural color and that underlying pigment. I'm going to be just hair painting on and air processing a couple of different techniques that we use with curly and textured hair. So the first one is going to be just your simple balayage application. Now, another thing that's really important are your tools. Tools are essential for being able to get control, especially of this hair that likes to spring and bounce back. And after this hair is stretched, once that moisture from that product is introduced, the hair starts to recoil on itself. So you need the proper tools in order to keep control of that hair so that the lightener can be placed where it's going to be the most effective and where it's going to give that really brilliant reflection. Some of the tools that I have I have an angle brush. Absolutely love this for fine detailing work and for getting into those smaller areas or blending to create those beautiful flames of highlights that go up. I also have a wider brush that gives me enough coverage on this hair so that I'm not kind of chasing those curls either in my hand, the back of my hand, balayage board, or your foil. So I really like using wide brushes. I also love multi-purpose brushes. These brushes are really great in order to flick the product and to distribute product evenly. And this also, because having the dual-sided bristles on each point, can help me to grab and gain control. So those are just some little tools that I like to use. Another one in my personal is the paintbrush. I love this because I can create nice, solid highlights, whether it just be on a smooth surface or if I'm going curl by curl and I'm finding the curl that I want to highlight. I love this because of the concave bottom that I can apply the product to and know that I will get full saturation on my curls. So I'm going to apply, and this is just like your normal process. But when we are applying product to curly hair, we want to remember that the more textured the hair is, the more potential for fragility that we have. In my hair with my curl pattern, each bend is a spot that could be very fragile because she has more texture to her hair. Each little curl spot that she has on hers is a spot that has potential for fragility. So we want to make sure in maintaining the integrity of our client's curl and the strand of hair itself that we're using products that are going to be really absolutely gentle on the hair. I'm applying really nice and thick, and you can see that. It gets really good in there. Because our curl wants to recoil, having a thicker product for whatever product line you use, I am currently using Light Master with Bond Inside from Matrix on her curly and textured hair so that I can maintain the integrity of her curl while I'm processing her. I like the consistency of this product, and there are a lot of products out there that maybe have clay additives to them that give it a more richer body where you can actually see where you're placing your product. Now, the way that I'm applying to Amber right now, I'm only applying on the surface. I'm not pushing to the underside. What this is going to do is give it dimensional highlights. So it's almost like I have the low light on the bottom and the highlight on the top, making sure that I have good consistency with my product. I can bring it all the way down. Now I can bring it all the way down on the surface, or I could create more intensity on the tips of the curls by applying all the way through to the ends. So there's lots of ways with curly and textured hair to be able to create beautiful highlights that don't get, for lack of a better term, eaten up. What will happen is if a highlight is too light or too thin, the product is applied thinly to the hair, the curl automatically just kind of eats up the highlight. And then what you get is instead of, pardon me, instead of an actual highlight, you get more of a glow. When your client wants definite dimension in each coil, you want to make sure that you're applying that product nice and heavy. Now, the next technique that I'm going to do is finding the curl. Even though her hair has been stretched, I can still see the texture of her curl. And depending on what her curl type is, like if you have somewhere like a 3B, we always say it's kind of like a Sharpie marker size, you can still see the definition of that curl. So what I can do is I can pick up the coils that I see, get them nice and firm, get my tension, and apply my product to each coil, top and bottom. This is going to give me full saturation of this coil and ensure that we have nice, bold highlights that are going to blend in and create dimension to her overall look. I'm going to grab another one here. Looking for questions in the chat box. Apply to the top. Apply to the underside. Make sure that that coil is fully saturated. And making sure that the product has fully saturated the hair, you're not going to worry about any transference. This color will remain right where you put it. You don't have to worry about it drying out because the consistency is a little thicker and we're applying it heavier than what we normally would to ensure that full saturation. Take another section here. And the beautiful thing about this is you can see exactly where you're placing your highlights. A lot of times we wonder, oh, was that last foil a weave or a slice? In this case, with air processing and being able to see exactly where we're placing our product, you don't have to worry about that. And it's absolutely customizable for your client in how they wear their hair. Another thing to take note of is asking your client in your consultation what their routine is. How often do they do their routine? How often do they shampoo? How often do they cleanse or co-wash? What are the types of products that they use? And in that, do they regularly flat iron or straighten their hair? So taking all of those things into consideration during your consultation are key also to how you're going to place these highlights in the hair, knowing that she will wear her hair straight and she will wear her hair curly. If your client wears their hair curly more often than they do straighten their hair out, this technique is totally fine to just go according to their curl pattern and their texture. So now that we've got a couple of these done, we're going to let her process, and then I'm going to bring her back in a little while because what I want to do is showcase for you after our styling portion how to really make these curls with the highlight pop. The styling that I'm going to do is called the wash and go, and it's what most curly haired people do. They want to be able to shampoo, condition, have a styling product that they can use, that they can put in and either diffuse, which that's going to be part of what we're going to do also, or air dry, which a lot of people do. So I am going to put Amber to the side and we're going to start talking styling techniques. So on my other Amber, I have 4 different types of styling that you can do for curly and textured hair. And on this mannequin head, she is a 4-quadrant mannequin head that has 4 different types of curl patterns. This pattern in the front where I have wash and go, and I have let her air dry, she's about a 2C3A, the loosest, most loose curl that we have on this mannequin head. And this is how her hair would be just air dried. I've gone through and I've given her a little bit of scrunch with an oil. And on all of my mannequins, I've used and prepared them with Matrix's Total Results A Curl Can Dream product line. So that's what I've used on all 3 of my ladies today. To break up the cast. Cast is a term that a lot of clients will speak on when they talk about product. Cast has replaced the word crunch. Crunch has negative connotations. People don't want to have crunchy hair, but we do need a cast in order to know that that product is completely dried and that the curl memory has taken shape. And once that cast is formed, then it can be broken up. And for myself and my mannequins and my clients, I prefer to use a light oil that just gives my hand enough slip to where I can feel this cast that has been created on her hair and I can just scrunch it. I can give it some hugs. I think scrunching is such a scrunch is such a hard word. I like to give hugs, and that breaks up the curl. Get in there and give her a good scratch and see how that just breaks up, and it adds so much shine and definition to all her curls, and it leaves the hair nice and bouncy. And then this product for her, a lot of curly, pardon me, and coily clients are looking for products that will give them like second day, third day hair that's refreshable. And they're looking for products that can be reactivated after they sleep at night and they maybe pineapple their hair or they may wear sleep caps. They want to be able to refresh those curls the next day. And this will allow her to be able to reactivate those coils in the morning. The next style that I have, these two back here are very similar. We have comb coils and we have finger coils. I'm going to use my balayage board so that I can just kind of show you the difference between the two coils. This is a comb twist coil, and you can see that it's very uniform, nice and tight and smooth. And then we have our finger coil, which is more open and a true looser coil shape. The comb coil is used for starting locks or faux locks in a client that wants that type of look to their hair. It's a little bit more firm of a style, whereas a finger coil can be broken up, could be wore this way. A lot of clients will wear their hair home in a finger coil and they will break it up over time and it gives them longevity of style. They could have possibly up to 2 weeks of loosening these coils and just letting those curls fill in until they have an absolute full style. My amber mannequin here was styled with twists. And then we have lifted her, let her cast and dry, and then lifted her. So these coils, the finger coils, could look like this in the end. So it's a really cute, versatile style for clients that are looking for longevity. These styles too can also help with transitioning. If you have clients that maybe have some type of heat damage and their texture's just not as uniform as they would like it, you could create uniformity with either one of these styles to create that transition time, making it easy for them to go from one to the other. Another style that we have, especially for your clients that have very coily, highly textured hair and they would like a bigger shape of curl, is to do our tried and true rod set. I have rods in her and I also have some perm rods in here to create different types of curl. These are going to give the more elongated curl, and these are going to give, of course, shorter curls that can be expanded over time. So both of these are really great ways of creating larger coils on your more textured, more of your fours. Four curls are so small that they just would like a little bit of shape. So this gives them that stretch and elongation. I've also too left out parts of their hair so that you can see the texture of the hair that I have wrapped in each one of these styles. So up here, we have this texture that I have wrapped in the rods to smooth and create larger curls. On the finger coils, she's about close to me being a 3B that I have put into the finger coil. And in the comb twist, she has more tighter curl. So this is more in your early 4s where she's got more of a micro curl, but it gives her really nice definition that she can either break up or wear in a faux lock type of style. Now, when breaking up these styles, I also use an oil. I will take each individual coil, oil my fingers, I smooth down the curl, and then I start to untwist. And I can pull pieces of this curl out and retwist them back into shape. And this fills the style in and creates that nice fullness that we have here. Also too with this, when parting, you want to create organic parts. Nothing too uniform, just so that when we do break it up, we get a nice breakup at the scalp from those curls, but yet they keep their individual shape to them. So these are really, really wonderful for maintaining, giving your client just a different look. If they have a tighter texture pattern and they would like something a little bit more looser without going through a chemical change. So all of these styles, I have used the Total Results Curl Please, a curl can dream gel. With this product, I really, really like this product because for myself and the product line that I use, it has really good slip, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily looking for a hold factor immediately. I want hold and longevity, but I need something that's going to take this coil and create a nice, smooth, shiny coil. I'm going to wet this surface down here. Water is the absolute most important. Water is the absolute most important key to styling and maintaining hair. A lot of times when we're working with product and it feels like the hair is drying, we tend to put more product in. It's not always the case. Applying product thoroughly to each strand of hair, the only thing that we need is water to reactivate. Water is the absolute key to hydration. We have different types of products that add moisture to the hair, but to maintain and lock in, we have to have water. So the hair shouldn't be dripping wet, but it should be heavily damped so that that product really moves through the hair evenly. Now for this section, I'm going to take just a small blob, if you can see that. And I'm going to do a finger coil on this section. So I have it nice and saturated, good and juicy. And I'm just going to take this curl and just wrap it around my fingers. Simple wrap. But as I wrap, I'm going to use my other hand to hold because I want to maintain that tension on that strand as I'm creating my finger coil. Making sure that I'm sliding down the strand of hair to smooth down that cuticle, to smooth down that surface, but also maintaining even tension all the way to the end to where I can take these ends and twist and then allow this to form its shape. And it goes right into shape. And then allow that to dry. Drying under a dryer, you'll be able to feel the cast, and that's what we want to feel, because then we know that those strands are locked into place, the moisture is locked in, and that memory has been established. I'm going to do a comb twist on this next strand of hair here. Now, comb twists can be the easiest technique. It's just allowing for tension and smoothing at the same time. So what you want to do is you want to put your comb in, comb through, put the comb in, let it fall over. Grab that tail, turn your comb. So we're bringing it back up. Bring it through. And as you go down, the comb will automatically move its way down the strand, all while smoothing, creating that coil, which is going to be a lot tighter than what a finger coil is going to be, but it creates uniformity. And I like using a very fine tooth comb to create these, because then I know I'm getting the tension that I need. I'm not getting any buckling. See how smooth that coil is? And I can go all the way down to the bottom. And once you get your mojo down with this, these are the easiest curls that you can create. So I'm just going through and twisting, but I'm still guiding those hairs that are still at the end. I'm going to put a little tension on the ends as I get towards, and I'm just going to kind of pinch and smooth down the surface of the hair. And I'm going to allow it to form. And you get a nice uniform curl. Wonderful, wonderful. So, hey Wanda, happy Monday. So while I'm working on this, are there any questions that anyone has or any experiences that you've had with working on curly and textured hair in salon, or maybe even on yourself or your family? Give you guys a chance to answer. While I wait for you guys to answer, I'm going to unwrap one of these comb coils that I've done so that you can see the difference in the release of these two different types of curl. So I'm smoothing my oil down. I'm going to give it a little twist to open it up. I can get my finger in there. Open. Oh, look at that. Such a great release. Nice and bouncy. Get a nice release on that one too. So these are really awesome. Awesome. Long longevity type of styles where you can break them up nicely and have up to 2 weeks worth of styling going on. Same thing goes with our rod set. We'll pull one down in the front here. Now with a rod set, don't need papers. Papers just kind of get in the way, especially when you have a texture like gel on your hands. Going to uncoil. And also to remember, you want a product that's not going to flake as you're breaking down your styles. So what I've done, and you can see I've got perfect little coil on the ends. As I'm wrapping, I will wrap the coil around itself. So I'll wrap behind it and then use this to anchor that curl onto the bottom. So now we have really great, awesome curls. And remember, I'm going to show you her previous texture. This is her previous texture. And now this is the new styled in texture. So it really opens up and elongates her curl, gives her a lot of nice surface for shine and reflection on her hair. So once we get all of these taken out, then we will go through and break these up with our oil. I want to show you the difference between the elongated curl and the more shortened curl. Get that nice shape right in there where we can stretch these out a lot further than we can these shorter ones. And sometimes that's just the preference of the client. Client preference and how they wear their hair, what their routines are again, especially if you have a client that this is a normal style that she maintains. She may leave just like this and break it up herself at home over time, or she may have you break it up just gently so that she can do the breakup throughout her time afterwards. I'm going to apply a little bit more oil to my hands. And with these, because they're bigger, I could take maybe 3 curls out of here. Re-smooth them back, allow them to form. Gorgeous. And that would be a cutesy, cutesy style that she could wear this way with a sleep cap and protect it at night and break it up each day. Working with textured hair, there's so many options out there with styling, now with coloring and highlighting and being able to maintain that integrity of the hair through that chemical process. Absolutely gorgeous curls. I'm going to do one more rod so that I can have her natural texture lie right next to the new texture that I've created. There. So we have this new beautiful curl that we've created with all that smooth, shiny surface. And we have the beautiful curl that she came in with that we have styled into a new texture. And this is going to give her lots of longevity, lots of style, and lots of moisture retention. Using an oil to break up a cast just seals in the deal. Make sure that all the good stuff that we've delivered through our products have been held onto and they're encapsulated in this beautiful light oil that doesn't build up on the hair. So now we have my amber. Highlights are processed, and now we're going to style her out. Now on amber, quad amber, we have her natural texture that we have wash and go styled, which this texture is a lot lighter and looser than what my other highlighted amber's texture is. But you can achieve the same results. You can achieve all this beautiful definition, all this gorgeous shine. And I'm going to show you an easy, simple way that you can do behind the chair after a highlight or after a texture cutting service. And it's easy and simple and something that you can teach your clients too. So I'm going to switch out my ambers. I will take that one. Now, to prepare highlighted amber, of course, I mentioned before that I'm using Matrix Total Results products. And I'm going to prep her with a leave-in conditioner. I'm using the Miracle Creator 20 on her. Whatever product line you have, you want to pre-treat the hair before you get into it. This is going to soften, it's going to hydrate, it's going to make detangling a lot easier. If she's anything like me, I've got a sensitive scalp, so pulling is not the most favorite thing I like. So I'm going to spray her down. Evenly distribute this product. Now, when we were speaking of tools earlier for highlighting and coloring hair, you also should have the proper tools when styling curly hair. Lots of them out there. I love, love, love wide tooth combs. These are my favorite combs that I have. They get through the hair, they detangle, they smooth. When I comb my hair with this type of comb, and I love the back of this because it helps to smooth that surface down, helps to distribute. People also like Denman brushes for combing through coils while wet. What a Denman brush does is, because it has all of these wonderful fingers and this awesome base. I love rubber bases because they smooth the hair, they smooth down that cuticle, they add shine, but you can also detangle and smooth with a Denman brush. Love this, love this. Another tool that I use personally, I have a lot of wide tooth combs. Being able to comb through curly and coily hair is really super important when you want to make sure that you are getting the proper tension and the right length on your cut. These combs are my absolute favorite. I use them for sectioning. So now, speaking of sectioning, sectioning is the absolute key to creating a perfectly styled finish on curly and textured hair. I'm going to section her off where I have two sections in the front and then one section in the back that I'm going to break up into smaller sections. The two sections in the front, again, organic parting. I like to kind of wiggle my comb as I part, just so that the two sections that I'm working on will blend nicely once that curl has been established into the hair. I recently started to use, I apologize if I say the name wrong, is that marula oil in my hair, and the curls are very pretty. Wonderful. I love, love, love when people can find the product that works for them. In the curl world, we've been through a lot. We try a lot of different products. We have the bathroom sink is loaded with products that we've tried and they didn't work as well, or they didn't give us the results that we want. Right now, there are so many different product lines out there. It can get pretty expensive to try everything that's out there. I don't want to mess up your first name. My name is different too. Mine's Kateri. But Miss Baker, if you are still there, what texture of hair do you have? Now, with this, we can take larger sections because what we're going to do is we're going to apply the product section by section. Super important. Super important that we apply the product from scalp all the way to the tips so that we know that we've wrapped that product in a protective layer of hydration, control, definition, all of that wonderful stuff, and to be able to showcase the highlights that we've done on amber. So I'm going to section this section off into maybe 2 or 3 sections. I'm going to do 2 for visual. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the product, and I'm using a gel. There are so many products out there. There are creams and gels, depending on what your client base prefers. In our line, our cream is really soft, so it doesn't have the cast feeling. And a lot of people that don't want the crunch would prefer more of a cream product that doesn't form such a uniform cast. And then for clients like me, I like the cast, I like the finish, and to be able to break that off, I prefer a gel. So again, I'm going to use the A Curl Can Dream gel on amber here. And I'm going to do, because this is a pump, I'm going to do 2 pumps. This product moves really well through the hair. So you want to get it on your hands and get it in between your fingers. Whatever product line you use, work it in between your fingers, because we're going to ribbon this product at the scalp. Because what we're doing is we are gathering all those natural little hairs that we all have at the scalp, whether it's just growing in hairs or possible damage and breakage. We need to give control to those curls right at the base of the hair, and then work that product down through. Now, on her texture of hair, you could do a quick finger coil and create a nice even shape with that. But because she feels a little dry to me, I'm going to add a little bit more water, which that's nice, makes it slip really nicely. And I'm just going to ribbon these curls. So what I'm doing is I'm smoothing down the surface of the hair with the palm of my hand and giving some tension, and then allowing those curls to form all the way to the tips. And leave it. That's the biggest rule in the curl community. Don't touch. Don't touch. Allow this curl memory to form itself, and allow it to either air dry or go dry under a dryer, but we don't want to touch these curls at all. We want them to form themselves, and we don't want to disrupt them by breaking up the curl too quickly. I'm looking for questions. It's gorgeous how that just hangs. I'm going to show you. Nice, bouncy, elongated curls. And this process here is exactly what I do with my hair to create these coils. Break this up into 2. Now remember, while I'm working, if anything pops into your head or you have any kind of questions, even if it's a question on our highlighting that we did earlier, please throw them in the chat box and ask away. Just gorgeous, juicy curls. I love this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the back of her hair all the way up. And then I'm going to show you a diffusing technique. We've been taught diffusing many, many years ago. Diffusing was meant to dry the hair, but it's also meant to impart volume into the hair while drying. With coily and textured hair, we come with volume. What we need is definition, and then we can create our volume afterwards. So disrupting the hair while diffusing is a no-no. That falls into the don't touch category. Because if we were to go through while diffusing and break these curls up and scrunch them before they've had a chance to impart that memory and actually form that curl, we're pre-frizzing the hair. Don't those look gorgeous? Nice and wonderful coils. And these coils, even though they're hanging low and long, she will be able to wear a full style after her hair is completely dried when the cast has been broken. And you see every section that I bring down, I don't disrupt the section that is below it. I allow these coils to shingle on top of each other. That's why taking the organic partings is nice, because then we don't have solid parts all the way through our style that have to be broken up. Going to lower her down just a little bit here. Thank you very much, Wanda. I appreciate that. Wanda, do you regularly work on clients with curl in salon? Are you a curly stylist? Oh, yay, Miss Baker. Your hair's just like mine. Wonderful. Yay, I love that. Multi-dimensional hairstylist. I love that. All righty. Now, with the diffusing, because of the sound, I'm going to do a mock diffusing, and then I'm going to show you the breakup on my finished amber behind me. Now we're up to the top, and the top, of course, is the area that usually has the most kind of the fuzziness. So I'm going to go through with my Denman brush, and I'm just going to smooth out that surface, grab all of those little hairs, and just create a nice smooth canvas for me to apply the product. I'm in lovely Michigan, where we just came out of a massive thunderstorm. I'm assuming California is beautiful out there. A little bit more product here. Okay. So now, just going to open the curl just a little bit at the scalp. And we have this nice, gorgeous, uniform, bouncy curl. Love it. Now, when diffusing, before in previous days, we were taught to get it in there, move it around, lift it up, put it right to our heads, and dry it. It's kind of vigorous and a little too much. What we want to do with curly hair, and what I have my clients do at the salon, is I start out with my clients leaning back in the chair. So I'm going to adjust Amber so that she can lean back. And what this does is it opens up those curls so that the air can flow through. and keeps the curls elongated. In past diffusing, we were always taught, like I said, to get in there and just push it up. Well, that's breaking up that curl and pre-frizzing the texture. So what we do, we can, and for my diffuser, I love long fingers that can get in there. And I just give a little lift, just to open those curls and hold for about 10 to 15 seconds. Before it was kind of like we're moving around. We don't give it a chance to really kind of establish itself, but we want to get in there and start from the top down to the bottom. Because this area dries a lot quicker just because of porosity issues or whatever the case may be, we want to make sure that the hair at the scalp is worked first. All around, all around. And then we can bring the air to the ends. Now, once you feel that the cast has been formed, you can then go in and lift. But that's only when the cast is formed. Now, if you feel the hair and there's still moisture left in there, wherever that moisture is, that's potential for frizz. We want to make sure that all of these coils have dried and that they have formed the memory and the shape that they want before we go in and create any type of volume or lift to the hair. So once we're done diffusing, we can then go in and lift and give volume. So now we're going to trade out our ambers for my finished amber. Now this amber does have a haircut. She's so cute. Oh, I love the shape of this nice little, I call it like a little bubble curl fro. I love this. So I did the same thing with amber. Even though her hair is shorter, I still diffused her so that her coils would hang nicely and just diffused outside of the curl until I felt that cast starting. Once I felt that cast, then I can go in with my diffuser and give her a little squeeze, a little hug to lift that up. Once she is totally dry and I feel that her cast has been established, I will go through with my oil, a couple of pumps, evenly distribute, and give her some good squeezes. Break up that cast. And you can feel it soften right up. Got her shape established. I have her curl established. And now, if I want to give her a little lift to her hair, I can take a pick, either a straight pick or a wide pick. A wide pick is going to give you that wider volume, or I use my handy dandy wide tooth comb, and I can go in without disrupting this curl pattern and get right inside of there. See how I can just go in and lift. Go in and lift. And what this is doing is it's just stretching at the scalp, but not breaking up the curl. And see how I can get it to stand up on the top? This is something that I do with my own hair. I can, even though I've got a lot of length and texture, I can take my comb and give myself lift and really fill this out and scrunch the crunch from my curl and give myself even fuller, bigger hair. So I'm just going to go through and lift her out and see how we have this side that I haven't done. And now we have this side that's nice and lifted. And she'll be able to reactivate this tomorrow morning, give herself some hugs, allow that cast to reform. Just checking the chat box. I'm going to allow the cast to reform tomorrow morning, and then I can, or she can, scrunch her hair back into position. And do a little lift on this side. This is so cute. Love it. So Are there any questions that anyone has about product application, maybe about the product that you use, any techniques that you may have? You can share with me in the chat box. So I'll give a minute here for the questions to come into the chat box. I'm going to pull all my girls up here. Miss Baker, did you have a question? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate that. I hope you guys picked up some tips and tricks today. Hopefully, I made things a little easier to understand with highlighting curly hair and gave you some really nice, easy styling for curly hair. I really, really appreciate you guys being here with me today. Again, my name is Kateri Johnson. I'm an artistic educator with Matrix. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending some time with me.